dot. I'm going to call the meeting of the Tainter Lake Rehabilitation District to order. If you would stand and face the flag, please, for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And just to remind everybody, the mission of the Tainter Lake Rehabilitation District is to revitalize and protect Tainter Lake. Roll call. Everybody's here, including Jim, but now Jim's gone, so I don't know how you want to put that down. But whatever. Approval of the agenda for the July 16th meeting and of all of the submitted committee meetings.
Can I read them off, Al?
You
Just to
sure
double
can.
check?
I would appreciate it if you
I
did.
was reading your mind, wasn't I?
You were.
Okay, first one we have is the July meeting, July 16th, the regular monthly meeting. And then we have the June budget meeting, which I forgot last month. I apologize. And then we had the April 15th, May 6th, June 3rd, July 1st, voting and safety minutes, the March 4th aquatic vegetation minutes, and the June 22nd water quality minutes.
Are there any additions, subtractions, or corrections?
I'll make a motion to approve last month's meeting and all subcommittee.
Thank
minutes.
you. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
There's been a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Recognition of visitors and visitor comments. We have 3 visitors. Would anybody like to comment? Okay. There are no comments. Commissioner communication. Adam, did you want to wait until down towards the bottom to talk about the vegetation harvesting? Or did you want to talk about is there anything you want to talk about?
I can take care of that later. Do you want to talk about our DNR visit?
No, you can,
Okay. Right now?
right now.
All right. So on August 4th, Al and I had Tyler Meesalk out from the DNR, just kind of, I guess, a all-encompassing, interesting visit. I'd say a pretty good feeling about things after the visit, but we just surveyed a lot of vegetation, wild rice, which we didn't see any of in harvestable areas, and pointed out sediment, and just kind of talked with him, about our long-term vision for the district, and, hopefully long-term plans of dredging and owning vegetation harvesting equipment and developing a lake management plan and writing grants. And so I think the DNR has a pretty good handle on what our direction is. I don't know if you have anything to add, Al.
No, I thought it was a very good meeting and appreciated Tyler coming out and because number one, he initiated the meeting. It's not that we asked, and he asked a lot of good questions about the direction of the district. And so while yes, we were focusing on the vegetation, it was just a good back and forth meeting. And like Adam said, when he left, I think he has a better understanding of our trajectory and where we're going and what we're going to do. We both, Adam and I, had kind of hoped that things were going to be what they were about 2 weeks before, but in fact, there was some floating vegetation that was working its way inland. And by the time we got around the point to pick him up at the dock at, Northwest Landing and came back, it was gone. So it was like, there was just a floating mass there not an hour ago and it sunk. And so it was like, but we wanted to point some of those things out, but I think he gets the drift. Anything else? Okay, sedimentation. Oh,
Treasurer's
Okay.
report.
excuse me. I should say, anything else on communication? I'm sorry. All right. Treasurer's report. Jackie.
All right, so this is for the period of July 10th through today, August 20th. We ended our checking balance at $54,718.39. Over the last month, we paid $3,300 in bills, and then we did have some transfers in from savings covering some of those fundraising activities such as the raffle tickets and the rock and roll to go. And then the ending balance for the savings is $26,711.46. We had the $1,000 donation come in, that was received at the annual meeting, and then raffle ticket sales at the annual meeting, totaled $991, so. Yeah, and then to be paid, so I do have, the rock and roll to go, we did pay that the day it was received to secure the date, so that was already paid, but it is in this period. UW Stevens Point, we have 2 invoices from them for water quality testing. The latest Verbiker, invoice for $949.85. The Colfax Messenger monthly bill, a little higher than normal because it includes the, advertisement of the annual meeting. We have the $80 to renew our USPS post office box, and then the $200 for the rental, of the facilities at the high school for the annual meeting. And then the $259.38, to the Bureau of Corrections for the signs. So $2,096.53, in outstanding bills for this period.
And you said our balance is 54, or the ending balance is,
For checking is $54,718.39.
we haven't gotten our, harvesting bill yet.
Correct.
Okay. That'll draw it down pretty fast.
Yeah.
Okay, any other questions for Jackie? Motion,
I'll make a motion to accept the treasurer's reports.
second,
Second.
motion and second, any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
I,
Opposed? Motion carries. Committee reports. All right, now I'm back on track. Tom?
I'd like to report that, Brown and me, mostly Brown, are working on a surface water planning grant to help pay for the engineering services needed to get started on at least one of the properties on the Red Cedar River. And we are developing a timetable to help plan and monitor activities. The grant is, the first 5 sections of the grant are done. We can submit it as soon as we get the financials from at least one of the engineers that we have requested information from. And I'm hoping to have that by the end of this week. So as soon as that information comes in, we can complete the first 5 chapters of the grant, send it in. The DNR will take a look at it, and then we will submit the final project in November with a prayer to get it approved.
Any questions for Tom? Aquatic vegetation, you kind of covered some of that, Adam. Is there anything else you want to say?
Yeah, so Week of August 10th, Aquatic Plant Management came back for their second session. They didn't get the full 56 hours in on their first trip, so we had a few extra hours, but I believe they put on 52 machine hours. There was a lot of, we called them to come early because there was a lot of uprooted vegetation floating around the lake. On Wednesday and Thursday, the 11th and 12th, they were actually running two harvesters out there. By Wednesday afternoon, they had 50 harvester loads full. They were actually waiting for the truck because they were filling in 4 minutes. So you guys saw some photos I sent you and some videos. Um, it was pretty productive. I think like that big bog that went down the channel the last 2 summers and tackled buoys and soaked people in on the west shore of the main lake. I think we might have saved them from that. There's still some stuff up in the delta by the Red Cedar, but a, a lot was taken out. So
Good.
I think it was pretty productive.
Good.
So,
Good call on.
but there's, obviously a lot more to get. So
Okay. Any questions for Adam? Voting and safety, Jim isn't here. Signs are up though. Bob, is there anything quickly you need to add?
Well, temporary signs went up, just ordered.
Yep.
The permanent ones ordered.
Yep.
He's looking for possibly, maybe a cost of putting, those regulatory signs on the bridge.
Right. Good. Yep. So the signs are ordered, and everything, we'll just stop there. Water quality?
We had a meeting, this last Tuesday, the 18th. I think the biggest thing that we're working on is the healthy lakes and rivers. Kevin gave some reports on that. And, the other thing that came out of the meeting is, I blew up my motor on my fishing boat. And last year I had a pontoon and a fishing boat, and now I don't have anything. So I'm going to phase out my water testing. The guys are gonna help me find someone. There's some kind of antiquated DNR rules on the training that I'll work with my water supervisor, Brianna Clark-Zine out of Beaver Creek Reserve. So more to come on that. I'll finish out the last water sampling tests first or second week of September. So we're working on it, and somebody new coming there, maybe two, maybe one for Lower Tainter, maybe one for Upper Tainter, because it's quite a ways now to go from Hay River down to Lower Tainter and back. So that's it.
Okay.
Can I add something?
Sure.
This is water quality activity. I contacted Shemek Baher, who is the owner of Carp Solutions. And he was pretty sure that he would be out either this week or next week to start our carp population study. I asked for a heads up. I can't say for sure, but Adam said that there were people out electrofishing today. So I'm hopeful that was him out there working on our population study.
I saw his truck and trailer at Northwest Boat
there
Landing
we
this
go.
afternoon when I stopped
we
by
go.
there, so I think it was.
Beauty. Okay, anything else?
Tom, quick questions. Did they just shock them? They don't take them out or anything like that?
No, I believe they take the carp.
They do,
Yeah.
okay. Okay, good.
Okay, community connections.
Yep, just working towards our annual fundraiser on Sunday, September 20th from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. at Elk Point. Raffle tickets are out and about being sold, getting the word out on social media, and flyers and posters have been put up at some of our favorite local establishments. So anybody that's interested in buying or selling some raffle tickets should contact me, grant@tainterlakedistrict.org. I'd be happy to get you some tickets. And yeah, other than that, that's about what we got going on.
Cool. Cool. That's 2 years in a row that you've had that on my birthday, so.
Next year is gonna be a Monday. I don't know if we can quite pull it off then, but yeah, yeah. Al's birthday party / annual fundraiser.
You want people to come, not to stay
Yeah,
away.
that's right. Never mind. I retract my statement.
Yeah, at my age, birthdays are not what they used to be, let me tell you. Okay, anything for Grant? Okay, we're in the discussion and action portion of um, uh, the meeting. Oath of office. You know, I was gonna print those out and I actually forgot to do the oath of office. But if I can find one quickly in my. You got one? I can find one quickly on my. I'll just read it or somebody can read it and Jackie and I will say we do.
Okay,
You have one?
I do.
Oh, okay.
And
So if
I'll-
you read it, we'll swear to it and then we can sign it at a different time.
I will print them out and,
Send them to us.
yep, print oath of office. Okay. It says in the state of Wisconsin, county of Dunn, I, the undersigned, who have been elected or appointed to the office of Commissioner of the Tainter Lake Rehabilitation District, but have not yet entered upon the duties thereof, affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the state of Wisconsin, and will faithfully discharge the duties of said office to the best of my ability. So help me God. This is subscribed and sworn to before the current commissioners on August 20th, 2026.
And I do, if that's the answer.
Yep,
I do.
and then Jackie does too. Wonderful. Congratulations.
Thank you.
We've been sentenced to another 3 years.
Yep, you can't get out of it now.
All right. Election of officers.
I'd like to nominate Al Brown as our, what is your title?
Chairperson.
Chairperson.
Yeah, you can't do president. That's kind of woke.
Yeah, well,
I'll second
Our
that.
fearless leader. I triple it. There we go.
Okay, anybody else want the job?
Negative Ghost Rider.
All right. I guess Al Brown's been nominated for president. Is there a second to it?
I'll second it.
Okay, so there's a nomination and a second. Any changes or discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, the other thing I would say is I'd make a motion to keep the rest of the panel of officers. That would be Tom and Adam and Jackie. That would be my motion in their current positions.
I second that motion.
There's been a motion and a second discussion. Now's your chance to escape. Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
I,
Opposed? Motion carries. I'd make a motion to designate the um, um, Colfax Messenger as the official newspaper, and that we have posting sites on Facebook and Jake's, and where's the other one go?
Elk Point and at the landing, Lambs Creek Boat Landing.
Okay, and those are our official sites. That's my motion. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion, a second. Any changes or amendments or whatever you want to do to that? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Discussion of standing committees and leadership. I put this on there so that if anybody wanted to make any changes or whatever, they could. I would make a motion that they stay the same with the current leadership and the current standing committees.
I'll second.
There's been a motion and a second to maintain the current leadership and standing committees. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Motion is second. Is there any discussion? There's no discussion, so we'll have a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Review of the work, the 2027 work plan and future activities. I sent those out in the board packet. And I did that so that committee chair people can look at the items on our strategic plan, and they can start to kind of formulate what the continuation of your activities, and if you wanted to add any new ones. And just to bring it to your forefront. I don't know that there's really any action that we need to take on this. In December, I believe we will review our strategic plan initiatives. And that will give you an opportunity to look at what you're doing. And if there's anything planning, that gives you from December to August to kind of get ready for the next annual meeting and roll with that. So I got that out there in plenty of time. I also gave you the plan on the page, which is really what the stuff that you fed back to me. So just know that in December, I'm gonna come back to you and say, well, here's what you get, here's what we said we're doing, what are we doing for the next year? And so this should give you plenty of time to talk to your committees. Bob, seeing that Jim isn't here, he has that. If you would make sure that you start those discussions on at your committee level, at your committee meetings. It doesn't have to be real specific now, but realize well, if you have September, October, November, you have 3 meetings to kind of, before I'm gonna start saying, well, what are we doing? And it's always nice that if they're gonna do long-range planning, to have plenty of opportunity to discuss it with your committee members. Anybody have anything they want to say on that? It was kind of my thing anyway, but I'm certainly open to suggestions. Okay, hearing none. Annual meeting debriefing. Suggestions, ideas, how to go, what worked, what didn't work.
I had some notes just on the registration, and I think I overkilled it with 4 tables. I think we can do it with 3 tables next year, and instead of having 8 people, just have 6 table workers. Pete's our greeter, and that worked out good. I don't think we had any problem. Gail Brown runs the registration, does a great job.
And she was actually kind of kind that day. She can be a little abrupt.
I just stay out of the way.
But she did that for a long time. And so she tells me I don't know what I'm doing. So I just kind of let her roll. That's the best way to handle it. Anything else? Besides registration, that is always the conundrum, but I think Gail's got it down now. Where the trusts are what held us up
Yeah,
forever, and she's got that down now. Because the trusts don't go in alphabetical order. In other words, if I have a trust that's not the Brown Trust, it could be, well, like my trust up north is the AWGLB Trust. Well.
Yeah.
It's never in an alphabetical order. And then the other thing is people sometimes don't know the name of their trust. And so, but she's got that figured out. I thought the meeting went okay. I mean, hour and a half, I think was hour and 35 minutes.
Yeah, and you know, we got our budget approved and we got the levy approved and we got our projects approved. So I thought that was good. You know, you can walk away from it and go,
just a comment for me, but a couple, and I don't know what I would call them, dissenting views. At least two people that I know of didn't vote at all. And found that kind of interesting. I don't think it's right. I think if you have definitely are against a proposal, I think you should vote even if it's a no, but they decided not to vote at all.
It was encouraging to see the overwhelming support, almost unanimous, if not unanimous for every project. So I think we have a lot of people behind us.
I think we've done a fairly good job, at least of those people represented at that annual meeting of doing what we say what we're doing and we're doing what we say we're doing. And so, that's good. Discussion is always, good, even with dissenting viewpoints, maybe not quite as passionate sometimes, but you know, it is what it is. And that, but the biggest thing about the annual meeting is people don't understand is that is a budgetary meeting, you know, and so that's where the big thing about that meeting is my frustration, along with yours, is that people don't come to the meetings and then they look at a particular item on a budget. There isn't an item on that, in that budget that we have not discussed to death.
right.
And then they come in with one sheet of paper and they got one line on that sheet of paper and then they make an argument for it and it's very confusing. I wish people would come to these meetings. These gentlemen know what's going on because, oh, they attend the meetings
Yep.
and they hear the discussion and so but you can't control what other people do. We can only control what we do.
One thing I would like to see changed, and of course, I've probably said this before, is that I would like to have more microphones. I think we should have 4 microphones on our tables. We can share, but passing it back and forth is, I don't know. I think it looks a little, for lack of a better term, it looks kind of rinky dink. Now, I don't know if the sound system, I'm sure the sound system there at the high school can handle 4 microphones because they have
Blades.
productions there, so
Right.
it shouldn't be a problem. Just something to consider. If we get a donation, maybe we can put that toward microphones.
Right. That's not a bad idea. Did we have a lavalier mics one year? That we were passing around?
Don't remember.
But, I'll bring that up. I'll mention that to Matt. And then I will ask him, so what does a mic cost? To, sometimes if we continue to be there, we can buy our own mics, and I don't know that they're all that expensive. But it would be nice even if the board members had lavalier mics, and then you could just speak,
Yeah,
and then there'd be one that you would have at the podium.
that hopefully works.
But, or maybe even if we shared, but it would be. I got it. Microphones. Anything else?
Well, I put in lavalier microphones and you can get microphones starting at $25 up to $75 at Amazon. And I'm sure they're much, much better microphones than these, but
Okay.
you know,
Well, I know they have them. I just, maybe they don't bring them out for us. You wanted to say something, Chuck?
No,
Oh, okay.
I'm glad Tom brought that up because I had forgotten about that. Someone had commented to me about the microphone not working. I think before we put the new batteries in.
Yeah. Well, I would have thought they would have done that, but luckily they gave me the batteries, so. Anything else on, the annual meeting? Okay, we're gonna just move on to the next one. Discussion of the aquatic vegetation harvesting. Adam, you're up.
I guess one of the issues to discuss is the current schedule. That's something, like this year we did a week of June 22nd. We met on July 8th and kind of surveyed conditions and decided to wait until August. We had APM locked in for August 24th, which we felt was a little late, but we reacted to conditions and they came earlier. So we'll kind of review that as a subcommittee and determine dates for next year. We'll have to kind of select that here this fall and lock them in. So that's what we got to do. It'll be 2 sessions again because we pay $1,000 for mobilization, so we can't have them come for 3 days and leave and another 3 days and leave. When they come, we pay them $1,000 and they go for half of our hours, which is 112 hours in total. So, any questions with that or?
Well, I was just gonna say the June date, how did that work out? Because that was earlier this year than last year, right?
Yes, it was because last year the DNR wouldn't let us go earlier. And personally, I thought it was good, like pre-4th of July. There's a
Yep.
lot of people that like in that West Hay River Bay, the North Shore had already lost access. They got access back. When we surveyed on July 8th, like those people still had navigational access. I don't know. My personal thought is like, I think we probably hit it as best we could. Obviously, we'd benefit from 10 times the amount of hours, but that's our long-term goal to own equipment and be running all summer. And we could do that with a pretty similar levy as we've discussed. So, but we got to get a grant and all that, which will be our next item.
Adam, this year's been pretty good. I haven't had to throw as much as I had in past years. Do you think, what percent do you think still has to come down the river and the channel?
I would guess like 60-70% of it is gone, between dying off and
Okay,
being harvested. I think it's weather dependent. There's a bunch on the delta, and the hay side's kind of an ongoing nightmare, but I don't know. It's hard to say. It depends what we get for winds and
okay, thank you.
so Mother Nature.
I guess you guys and you in particular have done a good job of consulting your Ouija board and kind of anticipating it. And I would say just keep doing what you're doing. And, I'll support you, and I think that you guys have a good handle on what's going on and you know, it's kind of a Russian roulette kind of thing on the second one. When it's too early, when it's too late, but it is what it is.
If you continue to get this down, maybe you can help us on picking the carp spawn.
Right. Yeah, we definitely got luckier this year than last. But yeah, it's guessing weather patterns and we all know how that goes.
It's not a perfect science.
Does anybody else have anything on the harvesting? Questions for Adam? Okay, report of the grant writing and application.
Yeah, so as discussed in previous meetings and at the annual meeting, we've contracted Fear Biker to write the recreational boating and facilities grant. On our agenda was signing a resolution, the initial agenda to move forward with that grant. On Monday, Logan Hansen from Veer Biker called me and basically the DNR had a very recent meeting on funds tied to the RFP grant. And Patty Fahey, who's the grant project manager for the DNR, basically said the well is dry for that grant for this year. And we shouldn't even consider applying until June 1st of 2027. So that was discouraging because the kind of the instructions on that grant is to say to target the first two cycles of June 1st and August 1st. And obviously the funding is gone. So basically the best case scenario to continue to pursue that grant is have the application in by June 1st, 2027. We've also learned that a vehicle cannot be part of that package. So, which Al and I have had some discussion on may actually be not the worst thing. But basically, I think that's our target, and we have most of the legwork done for this grant. So that's kind of where we're at. It wasn't good news because to me, it could potentially set this whole thing back a year, like because if we're awarded that grant and purchase a harvester, build out is a lot of times a year. And so, we realistically might not be owning equipment till summer of 29, which,
Yeah, I know some of the other lake districts and lake associations were turned down too. I know like Shoot Lake up in Suring, I know somebody up there and they had applied or were in the process of applying like we were, and they told them the same thing, come back June 1st. So I'm a little nervous that a bunch are gonna come in on June 1st.
another thing we just learned is Bloomer is, I think, just getting out of harvesting, and they had their harvester on Wisconsin State Surplus, and we had a group of private citizens bidding on it today. It closed. It sold for $28,000.
Really?
Oh.
But it's a 1995 Aquarius harvester. But they bought it probably, I don't know, for sure 5, if not 10 years ago for 36,000, put like 10,000 into it. But you're on a surplus auction bidding on a 32-year-old harvester and you might get what you pay for.
Yeah.
So,
If we're gonna get into this, let's at least not spend all our money on repairs, okay?
yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. But there was a group of guys together trying to win it and figure it out from there. But their significant others had a financial cap that it went beyond.
Did
Hopefully
you
that-
know any of these people that?
Hopefully that removes one group from the list ahead of us to purchase a new one.
Yeah, and yeah, we'll see where that goes. One thing I will say too is my understanding is like, we're obviously chasing these surface water grants too. And this is a different pool of funding. So my understanding is just because this recreational boating facilities grant funding is gone, doesn't mean the surface water grant funding is gone. But who knows?
Good, good. One of the things that I wanted to ask you was, do you think it would be to our benefit to maybe this winter, prior to submitting the grant, have a couple of public meetings on this? And just to say, basically the grant will be written. And then we can take the details of that and simplify it. And then sit down and tell people, well, these are our costs and just lay it out as to, here's what we're thinking of doing and getting, and having public input and public communication. Rather than just wait until the annual meeting and say, well, here's what we're doing.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea, and I think that that was kind of on the agenda, before,
Right.
and so we might as well kind of get ahead of things and do that. Um, definitely, I would agree with that, so.
Okay, well, and I think that we can make this setback and use it to our advantage to create that public awareness before we start doing the grant, instead of having applied for the grant and then doing the public information. I think this puts us in a better spot.
Yeah, and one would, think that it might make our chances of being awarded the grant more favorable if we've had some more public input and maybe really have our financing locked down with like,
Right.
obviously there's variation to it, but we could really have our interest rates, figured out, and insurance cost, and we kind of had guesses on that stuff. But if we had more firm figures and public meetings, that might be beneficial for the grant.
Well, especially if they'd been working on that grant, if they had any material that we could use to estimate budget figures, we could get pre-approved for the loans, all of those kinds of things, at what interest rate we could work out the details. And then we could have budget figures that they'd be estimates, but we would be able to put out some decent figures and not just guesstimates. So if we can go to, back to Verbiker and ask them if they have any of that information done, or are they just gonna wait until 2 months before the grant is due and then rewrite it? I mean, did they collect any information, or did they have any working documents that we can work from?
Um,
I mean, because we must have paid them for something.
yeah, I mean, what I've really noticed is like they seem to have good networking with the DNR staff. And I think they got a lot of airtime in with some different folks there. Hence like what we're dealing with here tonight,
Right.
we didn't submit the grant because we kind of got word that it wasn't worth our time, so I think that's one of the big things that we've kind of paid for thus far is some of their planning and networking with the DNR. I've done more of the budgeting stuff and the vegetation plan and that kind of stuff, so.
Okay,
But I think we should kind of get that on the winter agenda to do a public meeting.
okay. I'll put that down and we'll put that on um, strategic plan, as we'll have those public meetings. And the nice thing about having a public meeting on one topic is we don't get going in 20 different directions. We have one topic we can deal with, and then that's it. I don't have to deal with calling people out of order for other things.
Hopefully.
Yeah, you never know. I don't know that anybody's gonna get that passionate about aquatic vegetation harvesting, but you never know. Well, thank you, Adam. Keep us appraised of what needs to happen, and we will certainly help in any way we can. Chuck, did you have something you wanted to say? Oh, okay. Anything else? Well, we will take, and we do not have to take action on the grant project resolution for the purchase of aquatic harvester. We don't have to pass that resolution. So we'll take no action on that. And so if the minutes would reflect no action was taken on that due to there is no grant until June, and we will take action. I don't want to say table it, because if you table something, it generally never comes back, but we'll refer that to a future meeting. I don't believe we need to have action on that, or approval on that, but it probably wouldn't hurt. If, I'll make a motion to move the approval resolution to a future meeting to be determined by the grant application. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, Adam seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing no discussion, or having no discussion. All those in favor of moving the grant project resolution for the aquatic vegetation harvester to a future meeting. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Approval for the Healthy Lakes and Rivers organizing resolution. You have a copy of that in front of you. And Jackie, one thing you'll notice, you'll see your name on this as a treasurer. Okay? Don't freak out or anything. It's all good. But all the paperwork and stuff should come to you in order, so that all you have to do is submit it. Chuck is put down as the commissioner, the authorized representative, and who's ever the chairperson, that's me, but that would be the authorizing signature, just so that you know, the authorized representative and the authorized signature can't be the same person. And that was reiterated to me twice. So all this is saying is that as a board, we are supportive and authorizing Chuck to move forward with the application. And we are authorizing Jackie to pay out any reimbursement. And there's one point of clarification that we need to, I need the board to know, is that when we reimburse for the work that's done, we pay the check, and then we submit to the DNR for reimbursement. Okay, so we're kind of, in other words, we're the fiscal agent, is basically the way it works. And when we had talked about this at the original, it was, are we paying for this? And it was, no, we're not paying for it. We're upfronting the money, and then the DNR will pay us. I just want everybody to understand that. Chuck, would you like to make a motion?
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion that we accept the sample grant project resolution for approval.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, there's been a motion, a second. Is there any further discussion or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Approval, grant project resolution for erosion site bank stabilization. There is a similar grant project resolution. By the way, the grant resolution for the weed harvester was the same as the grant resolution for the Healthy Lakes and Rivers, and it's the same resolution for the erosion and site stabilization. The only thing, I would like to make a motion to move this grant resolution also to either the September or October meeting. And if I have a second, I'll go into the discussion.
I'll second it.
Okay, there's a motion and second. The discussion of this is to move this to a future site because Tom and I are writing the grant at this point, and we haven't talked about it. And so to look at this piece of paper, you wouldn't know what you're approving. And I think we should have at least the pre-approval application done and in your hands before you approve the grant finally. And so, I got that on the agenda because I panicked. And that's why I revised the calendar because the pre-application has to be in September 15th. I'm traveling the 30th through the 14th. And I wanted to get this done, but I talked to the gal that does the financing. And she said, no, it doesn't have to be approved before the pre-application, but it has to be approved for the final application in November. So with that being said, the reason why I'm saying move it to a future date is that I'd like you to see the grant before you approve the resolution. And then, I mean, nothing says it will get approved, but then Tom and I we finished that up today. Now we have a meeting with the DNR scheduled, or we're trying to schedule one. And we need a meeting with the county for some partnership activities on that. And so once we get those done, then we'll submit the pre-application. And then, once we get that pre-application done, then we'll come back and have the resolution in September or probably October. And because we won't be able to get all the meetings in time for September, but then we get the final application done, and that has to be done in November 15th. So that gives us plenty of time to get the resolution done. Does anybody have any questions on that? I probably over-explained it, but
For clarification, this is for surface water grant for the engineering study of
Correct.
and then I would assume we're gonna see the same resolution for our surface water grant to fund our lake management plan, which have the same deadlines.
Yeah.
And this grant resolution that is item 8 is the same surface water grant that Dunn County applied for last year and wasn't awarded.
right.
And now the Lake District is going to put our name on this grant and not Dunn County's.
No, we're gonna keep Dunn County in there.
Okay.
That we're,
Yeah.
that's kind of some of the little details that we took that grant and revived or rewrote some of it.
Okay.
And took the evaluation and tried to glean how to strengthen it and take it from there.
Yeah, I think it's good that Dunn County's name is on it, so we're not, I know they say there's no limit on these grants, but I don't want to be competing for 2 surface water grants as one entity, and
Sure.
the conservation department is supposedly overseeing, everything above the high water mark, and then once it's in the water, it's our problem. But
Yep.
as I say over and over, Dunn County needs to help the Lake District and the watershed below the ordinary high water mark out more.
Right.
So,
Oh, you should have been around my table today and on that discussion. But we're working on it.
Did you go to that 87 page brochure?
Oh, yeah, yeah. I got it, it's pinned on my search page. And so I can pull it up anytime you want me to.
Did they go through all 87 pages then?
No.
Okay.
That's good.
There's actually some pretty good videos on grant stuff and things like that. And so, you know, we took what we had, the evaluation we had the last time, and then we took some of the stuff that we did this time and rewrote it. And I think we've been very specific on some things. And so like Tom said, he's going to put together a whole series. What we're trying to put together is a series of how we apply for grant material and work with, not only do we have to work with the county, but we have to work with landowners. And Tom and I had discussed this. One of the things that we don't want to do is we don't want to do all the work and then have everybody stand back and say no. You know, everybody's got to have a little skin in the game. The landowner has to have some skin in the game. The county has to have some skin in the game, and we can certainly provide our expertise and our passion, but then we have to garner some other supports besides.
Okay.
And so, so I had a motion to push this to probably the October meeting, but to just put down, Tom, a future meeting.
Yep.
And hearing no more discussion, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
All
Uh,
right,
Opposed? Motion carries. Next meeting is September
70.
17th. Items that go on the agenda.
we have David Adix.
Yep. Anything else? Well, I'm thinking that we'll put the pre-application for the bank stabilization on there.
I think we should have lake management plan, surface water grant on the agenda as
Oh, yeah,
well. I'm
we should
guessing we're-
probably have that resolution for
I
that.
would think so. And I'll track down Neil Paff.
Okay, would you do that?
Yeah, I've been talking with him about the harvester grant a little bit too, but they kind of got someone else working on that, but I'm still in touch with him.
Okay, that would be good. And just have that forwarded to me and we'll get that on the agenda.
Yeah,
It's not, I mean, that form is pretty easy.
Right.
It's just, and if they have any preliminary, stuff on there, that will be after the preliminary, application is due. Because
Right.
it's due the 15th.
Yeah.
So we should be able to at least see the preliminary on that. So if we could do the resolution for the management plan and the preliminary app, that would be good. I mean, that in itself will take probably most of the meeting.
Yeah.
Jackie, is there anything from the treasurer's standpoint that you want to do?
Oh, that'll be free fundraisers, so it'll be pretty boring till then.
Okay. Oh, yeah, well, we'll have to have a fundraiser. Oh, wait, that is so we can't have a debrief on that until afterwards.
Let's wait for October for that.
Okay. I don't have anything else.
Neither do I.
Well, if nobody has anything, I want the record to show that Jackie's gonna make a motion to adjourn at
5:59.
5:59.
Make a motion to adjourn.
No,
Oh,
Jackie made it.
dang it.
To adjourn.
Second.
There's been a motion and second.
Beat it. Beat six.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned.
45 seconds.
Okay, so 59 minutes. Okay, I'm pretty proud of myself, just so that you know.
Broke the 1 hour mark. It's like the 4-minute mile or whatever.
Exactly. Well, I'd say more like the 5-minute mile.
Yeah.
We have to do something over here.
Just this, actually. Here, it works.
Grant?
I will And I have to shut off the,
Well,
At
Al would
the
know the
end.
rules better than me, but I think for the annual meeting, you have to have it at a site that could hold 9